That would make 6 in a row for the Phoenix Suns. A Black Friday afternoon affair in Memphis. The Suns go and do what they should do against one of the most injured teams, one of the most uninspiring teams in the NBA. Memphis Grizzlies entered this game 3-11 and 0-6 on their home floor. They lose. They're now 3-12. They're 0-7. So, Matthew, here we are. Black Friday. Phoenix Suns have to go to Memphis, knowing that this is their last in-season tournament group play game. And they do what not only they're supposed to do, but they also get that massive point differential that is needed to potentially allow them to be a wild card team in the in-season tournament, which occurs on December 7th in Las Vegas. This was like a win-win-win almost.
It was. And, keeping those guys in at the last couple minutes, it made sense this time. Because before it's like, why are they in for so long, right? We already got the win, the victory, but this makes sense to pile on the points. And I think the Memphis Grizzlies understood that too, right? Even with Booker launching that like game-ending 3 from full court, even that it wouldn't have counted. But that's not like any hard feelings, is it? Because it's just part of the in-season tournament thing now, right?
No, it's clear that the Suns are obviously fighting for that. And the way that they approached the final minute of the game, knowing that they were already up by a substantial amount. They were up by 18 points, but Devin Booker banks in a 3. They play trap defense with 11 seconds left and up 21 points. You can't get frustrated at that because you know that outside of this game, there's something a little bit more important. So here we are on the 24th of November, and it's acceptable for that kind of basketball behavior. And I like that. Maybe I do like the in-season tournament.
Oh, you do.
I do. I just never like the floors.
You do for sure, right? I mean, the competition, the beginning of the season has never been this way ever. And it's like we keep complaining about the Suns need to blow these teams out. Of course, they blow them out tonight, but the competition is just, it's fierce at the beginning of the season. And no matter who the Suns play, I feel like there's just always something on the line, whether in-season tournament or just playing the Phoenix Suns and wanting to beat this team who were favored to win a championship earlier in the season. But just the competition all around the NBA is just, it's at an all-time high right now. And I love it. It's awesome.
Yeah, and it's only going to get better because now, because of this victory for the Phoenix Suns and the manner in which they did, now basketball over the next, couple days gets really interesting. Obviously, the Suns are done with their group play games, but other teams are not done with their group play games. And what that's going to equate to is us watching with bated breath as we watch Minnesota versus Sacramento and Denver and New Orleans and Golden State. We're going to be watching these teams that haven't necessarily won group play, but are fighting for that wild card spot. So we will be watching to see if Sacramento can increase the point differential. If Denver, who I think is kind of our primary objector, if you will. Now there's 2 wild card teams, but we're watching these teams now. It's making other basketball more exciting because we have an opportunity to go into the season tournament. At the end of the day, does it mean anything? Probably not, but it does make November, end of November, beginning of December basketball matter. Mission accomplished.
Yeah, I mean, they had an experiment. They threw it out there to see if it would take, and so far it's taken. I haven't seen really one bad take on it where someone's like, oh, this is the reason why we shouldn't have the in-season tournament. The only thing is maybe the courts might change next year to where it's not as vibrant. There is a little bit of slippage on the court. I feel like some players are kind of complaining. No injuries yet. I think a player stepped through the court last night and twisted his ankle or something. There's like a hole in the court. I don't know what that was. But other than that, though, I think it's been a good little experiment from Adam Silver.
Well, and hopefully the experiment doesn't end here for the Phoenix Suns. But yes, it is a 21-point victory, which means that Biscuits in the Bear, who's one of our elite Jamsters in the chat, has donated $21 to the Suns Jam Session podcast, says Booker cooking that 40 burger with a chef's kiss. So thank you ever so much, Biscuits in the Bear. And thank you to everybody who's joining us, whether you're watching live or later, or if you're listening at a later time. We truly appreciate you taking a little time out of your day to hang out with the Suns Jam Session podcast. Just a reminder of a couple things that if you'd like to purchase any just super duper fly, Matthew, it's not just fly, it's super duper fly threads from phoenixfits.net. That's FENIXFITS.net. Use promo code SunsJam10 and you'll get 10% off of your order. And of course, Brightside Night is coming. If you'd like to donate, that's all we're asking is just donations and buying things. If you would like to donate to Brightside Night, $15 sends a child to a Suns game. We all remember our very first NBA game. This is an opportunity to send somebody to theirs. Simply visit suns.com/brightside for an opportunity to donate. There's different tiers of donations, and if you donate enough, you can end up hanging out with a Q&A session. We still don't know who we're going to be Q&A in, but you can hang out for a Q&A session before the game and attend the game as well. So make sure you do all those fun things here on your Black Friday. We all know that you're out there just spending money left and right. Just spend a little bit on the Suns and send some kids to a game and spend a little on yourself by going to phoenixfits.net. So time to crack open a beer, after all of the drinking that you and I mean, we've just been drinking nonstop since Thanksgiving began. I figured we'd just continue it with this delicious Amber's a Big Dog IPA. So I'm going to pop this open. Oh man. Let's talk about 6 in a row for the Phoenix Suns. It's a 110-89 victory for the Phoenix Suns over the Memphis Grizzlies, winning 6 in a row, which brings me to my first question.
Oi, Matty. Mate, I've got to ask.
I gotta ask. Kevin Durant. Uh-oh?
No, I'm good. It was expected, I feel like. It's more like, let's just rest him. Load management in a way, but the way he walks back after timeouts in the fourth quarter, especially last game where he's just is so fucking exhausted. You can see it. He can barely make it back to the bench. That's what it looks like, that he can barely make it back to the bench. I would say take the night off. Right, this is a Memphis team that we can definitely beat with Booker. I don't think it's anything serious, honestly. That's just from my feelings, right? But I don't hope nothing's wrong. Yeah, just that's a feel I get from it, right? No, we're not doctors here, right? That's what everyone says on podcasts. We're not doctors. Well, doctors don't know fucking anything either, right? They're like scientists, always proven wrong. So until you prove me wrong, I'll always stand corrected. There's no reason at all that you would actually have to worry about Kevin Durant's
I'm not a doctor here, but I'll tell you what I think about Bradley Beal and his herniated disc, because I got one and it fucking sucks. Okay, I'm not meant to be a doctor.
Is that what he has?
That's what they're talking about. It's a bulging disc or something in his back, and everybody's like, well, the rebound's really quick. It's like, yeah, I get it. He's a professional athlete, but it also just hurts like fucking hell, especially if it's sciatic nerves, and that's kind of what it sounds like it's happening with him. But again, I'm not a doctor. I'm just somebody who experiences it day in and day out. Now, with Kevin Durant, I agree with you. I think that this is an uh-oh moment. You have to tell the league that there is something. Well, he was evaluated, is what Frank Vogel said prior to the game, and his foot is sore. You have to say that because you can't go, well, we're just letting him rest. We're playing one of the shittiest teams in the NBA tonight. He's been carrying this fucking team for 15 games, so we're just going to let him sit on the bench. You can't say that anymore because there's going to be like fines and whatnot. So I think that it becomes uh-oh if we go into New York, which is our next game on Sunday, and they sit him then, because New York is a better team and it is the bright lights of Madison Square Garden. But tonight against Memphis, no worries in having Kevin Durant sit out, and the team goes and wins. This might be one of their highest point. I haven't looked at the stats. This might be one of their highest point differentials this entire year, right? They win by 21 points, which puts them at a plus 34 in the point differential in the NBA in-season tournament. But they're led by the man, the myth, the Big Dick.
Big Dick Booker.
We've been talking about it in recent podcasts, how Devin Booker just hasn't really looked right since returning from his injury, although he's shooting higher than he ever has before, and the team was on a 5-game winning streak. But you throw a 9 for 20 performance in there, people start to get worried a little bit. But with Kevin Durant sidelined, the efficient Kevin Durant sideline, Devin Booker plays only 33 minutes, scores 40 points tonight, is a plus 28, is 3 of 4 from beyond the arc and 7 of 9 from the field, but is 15 of 21 overall. Only 4 assists, but he has 4 steals, 5 turnovers, 1 block, 5 rebounds for Devin Booker. What an amazing performance by Devin Booker tonight. When the team needs him to step up with Kevin Durant out and obviously Bradley Beal out, it is Devin Booker who comes out and gives us one of his classic efficient performances. When the Grizzlies are on a little 14-2 run, boom, Booker comes back in, does the KD, just silence them with a quick mid-range jump shot, jumping over 3 defenders to do so. And all is right in the world, Matthew. BDB, headband book, looking good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mentioned before last few podcasts that he looks different, maybe playing like on a peg leg or just trying to adjust to an injury. That's what it kind of looked like to me. But then after I didn't even mention this in the last pod where the post-game press conference, he talked about, I am playing different minutes. Someone actually asked about, the spreading out of the minutes in the first quarter because he's so used to playing the full first quarter.
Yeah.
And, he's kind of like, yeah, like kind of one of those shrugs, like, yeah, it kind of sucks right now. Just kind of, that's the vibe you kind of get from it. But he's not going to say that. He's adjusting to his new minutes that he's playing. He doesn't know if this is going to be a thing really to continue all season long. Right now, just because Beal's out, now Kevin Durant's out, but he still plays those kind of separated minutes in the first quarter. So that's like the difference. I feel like he's kind of adjusting to that, because I always go back to where Chris Paul talked about, the minutes you come in, if you start, come off the bench, whatever you're playing in the first quarter, it's always an adjustment if it keeps changing throughout the season. So that might be it, right? Because he looked like in the fourth quarter, like first quarter Book, where he just caught fire, couldn't miss anything, but his jump shot looks so sweet. There's a little bit of a difference between earlier in the season, but after his injury, where he kind of just seems like he can't get to his spot as quickly. But tonight it just looked totally different. Him taking Jaren Jackson Jr. off the dribble on that one play, you just knew exactly he was going to get his spot, and he definitely did, shooting over the long arms of Jaren Jackson Jr., who I feel like isn't just as good as I thought he would be. He's kind of fallen off this year. I think that whole team's just kind of fallen off. But even against a former defensive player of the year in Jaren Jackson Jr., that's super impressive for Booker. He looked like his old self again tonight, I feel like. Not just because of the 40 points, but just in the fourth quarter, he came through when I kind of thought he would fall off a little bit.
Yeah, I think that obviously his legs are a little bit more under him. They're becoming more under him every day after being out for 7 games with injury. But I also think that this is the role that he is used to playing. He's used to being the guy at all times, not having to rely on being a facilitator. He'll always get his assists in the past out of pure just game flow, if you will, where the opposition is going to throw a double at him. And so what does he do? He'll dish it out. But he doesn't have Kevin Durant out there pulling gravity. He doesn't have Bradley Beal, who he's never played with, out there either. So he's like, I can just execute the way that I'm normally used to executing, and I'm going to get to my spots. And you're right. He did look a lot quicker getting to his spots. Part of that could be the fact that he is feeling better. But the other part of that is the Memphis Grizzlies suck, and we have to accept that. They suck for multiple reasons, and the primary reason is the majority of their guys are out. There's no Brandon Clark. There's no John Morant. There's no Steven Adams. The list goes on and on and on. Desmond Bane is banged up. I mean, their entire team is just in shambles right now. So when you play a team that has that level of talent or lack thereof, you should have the ability to execute, and execute he did. And that's where you have to give him props, and that's where, for the first time this season, outside of maybe the majority of the Portland game, I felt like we played above the level of our competition instead of down to it. There's been instances where that happens, and even in this game, that did happen. It was bookended by quality quarters by the players not named Devin Booker. When Devin Booker sat out for his minutes in the first quarter, they were only a -2. Then the middle part of the game, they ended up going to a -11 in non-Booker minutes, and you felt it. But in that last quarter, they ended up, being just fine when he sat down for that mid part of the quarter of the fourth quarter. And part of that is because they have a guy who really stepped up in this game, in my opinion, and that's Jordan Goodwin.
Where's my dog?
Jordan Dogwin.
There's my dog.
Jordan Goodwin played 20 minutes. That was it in this game. But he was 6 of 8 from the field. He had 14 points. He had 5 rebounds. He had 2 assists and a steal. He was really, especially in that fourth quarter, that X factor that allowed the Suns to maintain and grow their lead that last time that Devin Booker was on the bench. They increased their lead by a total of 4 points with Booker on the bench. And when he came in, he threw out the knockout blows that ultimately put the Memphis Grizzlies away and the Suns in a position to be considered for the wild card in the in-season tournament.
Yeah, Jordan Goodwin's had the opportunity a lot this season in the beginning, bringing the ball up, trying to be like the other point guard in a way. It hasn't really worked out, but I think just him consistently getting those minutes where you couldn't really rely on him too much offensively, but defensively it's always there. I just think that kind of built up to tonight where he had the opportunity to really showcase what he had and how he can help Booker along with everybody else who did a really fantastic job off the bench. But Goodwin was key, man. And I think it's just the buildup. It's kind of like, how Little gets those little minutes and he kind of builds up to what he is now.
Yeah.
Metu's now getting minutes because of the injury to Eubanks. Yep, that guy. And Goodwin's, he's been there all season long, right? He's been there, but he hasn't been anything crazy. The beginning of the year, we try to look for like a nickname with him and Okogie. And, it hasn't really been the 1-2 punch we thought it would be. But Goodwin, at times, it's like he's playing up to the level we thought he could, but also at a level where you kind of question Okogie's minutes and if he should take Okogie's minutes, right? Tonight, I feel like they both played really well. But of course, Goodwin offensively just filled in that role that the Suns needed with Kevin Durant being out tonight.
Well, and that's what a bench player does. A bench player is not going to give you constant, consistent production every time they come off the bench. Because if they did, they'd be one of two things. They'd be a starter or they'd be a 6-man of the year candidate. So you're going to get peaks and valleys relative to performance for your bench players. And as you mentioned, Jordan Goodwin has had some ups, more downs than I feel ups. But the key with Jordan Goodwin is his floor is a solid floor as a player. It's sustainable. He's not making bad decisions. He's providing good defense. His ceiling is when he can provide that good defense like he does tonight, but also can provide some offensive performance and not settling for the 3-point shot. He was only 1 of 3 in the past. He's been shooting a lot more threes. He attacked the cylinder in this game, and I thought that was important to put pressure on the interior of the Memphis Grizzlies, one that, again, much akin to the rest of their team, is just decimated right now. So you have to do that. I don't know if he'd be in a position to take anybody's minutes because he's been getting minutes as well. Thus far this season, through what is this? Is this 16 games now, Matthew?
Yeah, this was game 16. Yeah.
God, they're starting to.
We're already a quarter of the way through almost. It's crazy how fast it goes.
That's what I'm saying. It goes by quick. But Jordan Goodwin, up to this point in the season, entering this game, had played in all 15 games, and he's been playing 15.3 minutes a game. He's somebody who is definitely going to stay in the rotation because of the defensive acumen that he possesses. He entered shooting 34% from the field, from 3-point land, and 32% overall. So he's not a scorer. So this is a plus game for him. You have to enjoy these, but don't expect these consistently. But again, like Metal Mike says, he's a good good chemistry right now. And then Jordan Goodwin brings that good chemistry for the Suns. Here's something that I just don't get. So help me through this. All right. So one, Jason L in the chat. Why Vogel only play one center? Because they only got one center, Jason L. Drew Eubanks is hurt. Yousef Nurkic, Chimezie Metu.
Metu's a little bit of a center. He's your stretch center. That's not really a center at all.
He's your small ball 5 center. And like Kevin Durant was out too, because he could be a small ball 5 center. But that's the why. But it's more of this comment. Grizzlies not even a good team. Suns bench continues to struggle. Metu, Josh Okogie did nothing on offense. The Suns line up only one center straight up, not beating the Lakers.
Oh, Lakers. In the in-season tournament, if we make it, we have to play them because we have a wild card.
I don't know how it works. But this is so Grizzlies not a good team. Suns bench continues to struggle. Metu, Josh Okogie did nothing on offense. We just won by fucking 21 points. Like, is everybody supposed to go for 20 points every night? Like, everyone who steps on the court is like 20 points and we shoot 85% from the field. Lower your expectations, bro. That's all I'm saying. I see comments like that all year long. It just drives me nuts. It's like anytime, like, no one can ever be happy. Like, we just won by 21 points. We're on a 6-game winning streak.
Yeah.
And like Josh Okogie didn't play well enough tonight, and neither did Chimezie Metu. Oh man, we
Well,
suck.
Okogie, I never look offensively. I thought Okogie had a good game today because he had 2 or 3 Okogie plays. That's all you want from him. All right, he's fine.
He was second highest on the team with a plus 22. Yeah, he was 2 of 9 from the field, 1 of 4 from downtown, had 5 points, but he had 7 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 steal.
Yeah.
You know, if you're relying on Josh Okogie to be your offensive force, like watch another team because it's not going to happen, man. It's just not going to happen. I'm sorry, Matthew. I'm sorry.
It's all right. I forgive you.
Okay, as long as I am forgiven, I feel a little bit better.
From Indiana University, number 23, Air Gordon.
That's a drop I definitely want to change. That was one I made like over the summer, and I just I don't know. I got to come up with something better for Eric Gordon. From an offensive standpoint, we talked about Jordan Goodwin. We talked obviously about Devin Booker and his 40 points, but 20 points from Eric Gordon, who kind of filled in the Devin Booker role, right? He was a second top scorer, but not as efficient. He was 6 of 15 from the field, 4 of 11 from downtown, 20 points, couple assists, 1 rebound. What did you see from Eric Gordon in this game?
Well, starting the game when he started 0 for 2 for 3, I was like, oh, it's going to be a long night, right? He was already settling for his corner, little corner threes. They're not in the corner. Where are they? They're just left the left side, right side, whatever you call it. But he's further away from the basket, like we all know. But him missing those big threes in the beginning of the game, I say they're big just because you kind of know who can help Booker tonight. And that was the thing going in. It's like, who's going to step up? Van Arsdale does say Eric Gordon, and she's correct. It was Eric Gordon who had to step into that role. So when he misses the first 2, it's like, oh no, like is tonight going to be one of those nights where he's just off? But
And he looked off a little bit.
He's a starter. Yeah, he's a starter. He got 20 points. Definitely helped, I think, with the help of Grayson Allen as well. But Eric Gordon was a key factor. Him getting to the lane, he's not going to really make a play. He had a couple turnovers tonight, which is kind of questionable. But it's fine, man. You don't really want him to set anything up. I think him playing the 2 guard was perfect. And he just, he never really hesitates. And tonight, it didn't drive you crazy or anything like that. But anytime he's starting, like we always talk about, he always puts up the big numbers. And when we did sign the guy, we even said like he would be playing those crunch time minutes with the Suns, right? With Devin Booker, with Beal, with Kevin Durant and Nurkic. And, he's still keeping us alive in these games, which is those big knockout threes leading into timeouts that, the team has to adjust. And usually those threes are leading to like 18-point leads. And then that's pretty much games. So that's what he was doing tonight. And I loved it, man. Of course I did.
Yeah.
Why would I not love it?
Because you're like Jason L. and you're like, listen, why didn't Udoka Azubuike play? He's
Is he
a
on the
center.
Suns still?
He is our two-way guy.
Okay.
The answer to that is because we didn't need him because we won by 21 fucking points. That's why. But no, with Eric Gordon, you're right. The way that he can throw the knockout blows is huge. And he's the guy who is so, as we said in this offseason, one of my favorite signings because he has the capacity to fill the 2-guard slot. And he's, due to injuries, been forced to this season, and he's been executing. And to know that you have somebody who has the ability to score as much as he can and in the different ways that he can, because he's not just a pure 3-point shooter. He attacks the cylinder. He can get to the line if needed, but he can hit those deep threes. He's just been absolutely huge for the Phoenix Suns thus far this season. Entered, averaging 14 points a game. He's shooting 38.3% from beyond the arc. Just a very great pickup for the Phoenix Suns. And it's players like him that are going to keep the Suns afloat until we get that big 3 back and playing. And I was impressed with him, and I was impressed with Grayson Allen as well tonight.
Hi, Barbie.
Oh, hi, Alan.
Oh, Grayson Allen, our fuck shit up guy.
Grayson Allen's the same way. He's only averaging 12 points a game on 47% from beyond the arc. But in this game, 14 points from him, 5 of 9 shooting, 3 assists, couple rebounds, a block. And he, too, was attacking the cylinder and putting pressure on that interior force that we once knew as Bismack Biyombo. So what do you see from Grayson Allen in this game?
Well, I think it's more of the same from Grayson Allen. Like him just getting into a little accent there. getting into the paint was something else, and I think him always making the decision. It's like when they're a little bit of a mini fast break, but he always just makes the decision right at the 3-point line. Hey, I'm just going to get to the rim, right? He's not really going to dish it off to the guy like Okogie tonight in the second quarter, where it's a fast break and Okogie has a lane kind of, but he's not going to like kind of set him up. He's going to weave around the defense and get to the rim because he can also finish, and we also trust him, right? It's like if he's not going to make the pass, he's so physical and has like the little Euro step at times and just ways to get past these defenders like Dwayne Wade in a way. It's crazy nuts. And I don't think the defenders still expect it from Allen because that's the way it looks. It just looks like as soon as he hits the first defender, like, oh, this is all right. Oh, where did he go? Right. And he goes right past them and he gets the bucket to help the Suns to a victory tonight. But also just making something out of nothing. I think that's his biggest thing tonight was that where he would just, late in the shot clock, have the ball, get to the rim. Or else he would cut when Booker is just standing there double team. He would sneak behind and just cut to the rim wide open for a layup. So he's always just thinking on his feet quickly. And that's why he's been so consistent this year, getting 32.2 minutes going into this game per game. That is insane. I just think that's crazy. He's having obviously a career year like a lot of these guys on the Suns right now. We still complain. I still complain. A lot of these guys' career years.
We're fans and we can be critical. I agree with being critical of our team, but I also like to be critical with some semblance of logic. So when you say Dwayne Wade, people might like eyes bulge in the back of their heads. Why did you say Dwayne Wade? He moves like Dwayne Wade.
Oh, absolutely. He finishes dunks like Wade. Yeah, she does in the fast break. The way he goes up with two hands and stuff, it reminds me of Wade. It really does. And him just moving around defenders, man. Like he's just so quick with the next step. You can see that. And of course, he's not Dwayne Wade, but if you want to say like, hey, like Booker looks Kobe-ish, Grayson Allen might look a little bit Dwayne Wade-ish sometimes.
And of course, for those of you who don't know,
that.
Grayson Allen on Suns Media Day said that his favorite player growing up was Dwayne Wade, and that's who he tried to model his game after as much as he can. So if you see a little Dwayne Wade in the way that he moves, attacking the basket, obviously Dwayne Wade had much more athletic skill than Grayson Allen, but it's the moves and it's the body control. And that's what I've been impressed with Grayson Allen thus far this season that I was not really aware of was his body control as he attacks the cylinder. As you mentioned, doing a Euro step, you have to kind of slow motion yourself so you allow the defenders to move around you so you can get to that good spot to lay the ball in. Grayson Allen does that very, very effectively. And it's something that we'll continue to monitor throughout the season, its effectiveness, but it's something that surprised me. I definitely did not expect that. So New Hope Manny in the chat asks, where can I get Lissy's t-shirt? I feel like when you wear that t-shirt, a lot of people like that.
Yeah.
It
was Just Sports. Or no, it was what's the one at Chandler Mall? It's not Just Sports, is it? It might be Just Sports. It's the one with the big fake bat out front. It's kind of cool. Okay, cool. Yeah. So if you want this shirt, go to Just Sports 2 years ago, and it might still be there. I don't know. So it's 2 years old. All my clothes are from 2 years ago. I haven't got a new Suns outfit in maybe a year, so everything's outdated. So sorry, guys.
It's Cyber Monday on Monday, Matthew. Hit that
you can
up.
come to my place and I'll give it to you.
Get some new threads. This is the third consecutive game in which the Phoenix Suns have played a former member of the team from last year.
Biz.
Bismack Biyombo is now playing in Memphis, and it was a reminder that Bismack Biyombo is Bismack Biyombo. That is to say, not a great offensive player, not relied on to be a great offensive player. Didn't really have much run on the defensive end in this game either, did he, Matthew?
No. Nurk taking it to him. The abuse from like almost a 3-point line every time. He's just like, and I love that Nurk did that. We'll talk about it a little bit if you want, but the way that Bismack went in there, and I'm just like, defensively, I remembered somebody else on that team, right? Offensively, him and Chris Paul look so good. Chris Paul made everyone look good, but tonight you just don't notice him as much. And I think that the way Nurk abused him just shows, he was just basically a last resort for the Memphis Grizzlies to grab somebody with Steven Adams gone. And we did mention too, like if there was a trade for Marcus Smart on the Grizzlies, who's injured right now, if it would include like a Nurk and then we get the Bismack back and then have Eubanks start, right? Scratch all that.
Yes.
Figure something else out, right?
Exactly.
Well, that
Thank
was me.
you.
That's what I wanted.
I know you and a lot of other Suns
6.5
fans
games into the season.
we're sitting there like, we need Bismack Biyombo back. I'm like, why, dude? It's a one-sided
Well,
player.
If he's in the trade, we need that other backup center to Eubanks,
No,
right?
we don't. Let's
switch it up.
John Tran in the chat. He did Bismack things. Did he have blocks? Yeah, he had one. And you're 100% right. He got bullied by Yousef Nurkic, and I appreciate that.
Nurkalicious definition make them boys go crazy.
Oh, the thing that I've really enjoyed about Yousef Nurkic is his affinity and willingness to be a back down center. We've seen in the past couple games when we've gone against smaller centers that he will just get the ball 18 feet from the court and just body you up, back down, laying over you. It's like, again, we haven't seen this since what, like Rodney Rogers was on the team or something. Like there's, I like even like Amari Stoudemire used to do it sometimes.
Jake
Yeah, Jake Sokolidis doing this out there, fucking Pat Butt coming in. But yeah, I thoroughly enjoy it because it shows a level of physicality that this team needs. We talk about how great the scoring is on this team. You have Devin Booker, you have Kevin Durant, you got Eric Gordon and Grayson Allen chucking threes with great efficiency on the outside. That's all finesse. You need a little physicality in there as well. And Nurk, although he only scored 6 points tonight, he grabbed 10 rebounds. He was only 2 of 4 from the field. His only 2 missed shots were 2 3-pointers that he's like, one was like as the shot clock was expiring, he's like, well, fuck it, I got to take this thing. But he also had 6 assists tonight. And again, that's that fit that we talk about and we'll continue to talk about. 6 points, 10 rebounds, 6 assists. I am A-okay with that. He had 2 steals. He had 2 blocks in this game. He played physical against not only Bismack Biyombo, but one of the most highly overrated players, in my opinion, in the league, Jaren Jackson Jr., and I thoroughly enjoyed every minute of it.
Yeah, before the I always I'm trying to go behind you in ways where I'm just not like, yeah, you know what I mean? But too late, already did it.
Well,
so
we're
let's
530 shows in, so
I know I'm trying to think of different ways not to be like, yeah, so, or I don't know. So,
all right.
Anyways, 2 as well. So Nurk just exploiting the Memphis Grizzlies in a really good way. It's fun to see that on your team where, there's a weakness and they keep attacking it. Only the 6 points, but that's fine. It's all right because Nurk's been the most consistent player so far this year, right? He's played every game. We worried about his injuries. Bill Simmons is like, no, it's going to happen, right? Well, he'll probably sit out some games maybe this year. He just looks so good. You don't worry about the injuries, man. He's not putting himself out there in ways where it's like, oh, if he falls on someone's foot, he's out. Like there's reasons why he's not jumping. Probably, right? They're not trying to go for the extra little oomph to get that extra rebound, but he's been consistent. He's playing with everybody. That's just all the lineups are just so random around him, and he's still making plays, waiting for that cutter, but also he's just not turning the ball over as much either. You don't see those little stupid plays where he used to have them with Kevin Durant and Devin Booker at times. He's fit in very well now, and the way he just talks to Booker when they do the cut shots, the cut scenes of him on the bench between in timeouts when he's talking to Booker and they're just going back and forth, like really at it, like in a good way. It's not like they're yelling at each other. They're just like talking about whatever they're going to do. I love seeing that because we didn't have it with our last center. So just to see that and just to know that he knows like him and Booker can connect and just, mentally they're on the same page. That's fun to see. And I love it. You just trust him more and more to where he is kind of invincible at times. Like he just isn't there, but it's not in a bad way, right? Where guys will disappear. He'll just be out there hustling, make little tip plays here or there, but nothing crazy, man. So for me, I just feel like Nurk's been my favorite player right now this year. I think I've said that about every player in all 16 games so far. So he's my new favorite player for the Suns.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's your favorite player too. No, I think again, I echo everything that you say because I think it's spot on too as well. Real quick, Shamil in the chat says, I bet none of y'all know where Sri Lanka is even. LOL. Anyways, love the show. Shamil, if you're watching from Sri Lanka, first, thank you. And second, yeah, I know where Sri Lanka is. It's south of India. It's an island off of India in the Indian Ocean. Geography, it's like one of those random Rain Man things with me. I'm really good at geography for some reason. So thank you for joining us all the way from Sri Lanka and everybody who's watching live in the chat. Truly appreciate it wherever you are, wherever you be. The Suns Jam Session's for you. The Suns Jam Session is for me. You like that?
I do like that. Geography, my nephew asked me, Oh, is Utah above us? I'm like,
Yes.
ask your mom. I don't know.
Directly north of us in Phoenix. What else do you have in your notes, Matthew? It's 34 minutes in. I don't got much else. We're gonna be doing some childhood trauma tonight. I'll tell you that.
I think we talked about Okogie. I think Okogie had a really good game tonight.
Should I do his drop?
We can talk about him. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Hey, Joe. Where you going with that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Josh Okogie in this game, 2 of 9. Oh, I already said his stats. So tell me what you saw from Josh Okogie.
Well, anytime he dunks over somebody, like try to take a charge, it's a good Okogie game, man. It's just the 1 or 2 plays he gives you. I'm telling you, once they're all fully healthy and they're all back playing, he's gonna be the Okogie remember. But he's having these little spurts defensively that, we're trusting him again, right? I think, right? He's had back-to-back games that are pretty decent, man.
Yes.
And if we could just forget about the offense, it's fine. He already knows he's not even taking that many shots now. It's just like Goodwin's better offensively. We know that. And that's why you would take him over Okogie, of course, right now, just because offensively he's matured in that way this season, this far along, where he can be more trusted with the ball. Okogie's not going to be that guy. But defensively, man, I think he just had an outstanding game tonight. I really did.
Yeah,
again, a shitty team, right?
Well, the frustrations that we've had with Okogie at the front end of the season were with his offensive production and his defensive production. He wasn't giving you both. He was giving you neither. Now, although his offensive production hasn't risen, his defensive intensity has. And you see it on the court. He's a little bit of that fuck shit up guy fraternity where he can sit there and he can be a game changer. And you're starting to see that a little bit more with him. And as long as you're getting that from him and you get some bonus offense, then it's a win. And he'll continue to garner those minutes. And I think that he will garner those minutes because of the way that he attacks the game and attacks the opposition. So completely agree with that. Let's see. New Hope Manny in the chat. Okay, John, where is New Hope? If you're referencing like New Hope, Pennsylvania, it's north of Philadelphia, I believe. It's over by New Jersey, I think, if that's what you're referencing. If it's like New Hope is like the Cape of New Hope, or that's Good Hope. That's South.
Yeah, I'm not
Africa.
I'm not sure. I thought it was like a book.
No, you should,
finding God again.
You should be like, just ask your mom.
Ask your mom.
Ask your mom. What else you got from your notes?
Let's see. So, I just thought as a whole, KBD along with the unit around these guys. I don't like to call them the bench unit or anything like that. You know what I mean? Because I don't know who's starting, who's the bench, but just the role players. They've been just playing so good. I don't care who they played tonight. They've really been picking up on each other on the cues, passing, just moving the ball around. They've been doing a lot better. There's not a whole lot of standing around anymore, and they've just been consistently moving, even if it's just Grayson Allen on one play or KBD cutting from the corner like he does so well. They understand now what to do in these situations where you don't have Kevin Durant and you just might have to play a couple minutes without Booker and KD, but they held it up tonight against a shitty team. So, but it's fine. They look a lot better.
That's a good observation. Yes, the ball movement from the ancillary players has been excelling, and you're starting to see that, quote unquote chemistry. Because you're right, Matthew, we're a quarter of the way through the season now, and a quarter of the way through the season, you should start to see the development of chemistry with especially the second teamers, because they've been healthy and they've been playing together. It's been the top end guys, the guys who you're paying $30+ million a year who've been sitting out. Booker's missed 7 games. This makes I think 13 missed games for Bradley Beal and the first missed game for Kevin Durant. So what?
That's just crazy.
It is.
Yeah, it's fine though.
And we're 10-6. So everything's okay. But I noticed it as well on those, especially with those minutes with Booker being out. If you do, after everything's said and done, I think the final total for non-Booker minutes was -7. That is, the opposition the Grizzlies outscored the Suns by 7 points in all non-Booker minutes. That's not horrible. It's not great. No. It's not horrible. But at the same time, it shows you that there was some more fluidity, and there has to be with those guys. There's no dominant ball handler or ball force, if you will, with that second team unit. So they are moving the ball around, trying to get to the best possible shot. There still is kind of a need for a secondary point guard, because when Eric Gordon was like running point when Booker was out, it was some ugly basketball. That's primarily during that 14-2 run that they gave up in the middle of the third. I think it was the third quarter. So, Matthew, were you hanging out in Memphis tonight?
I was.
Yes. The Suns Jam Session subreddit stakeout. You got to be Elvis. You got to be the kid. You're not Elvis in this one. He's from fucking Memphis, dude. He's not listening to me. Matthew's still putting on his disguise. What are you doing? What are you doing?
Oh, dude, hold on.
Putting makeup on? Matthew.
I was trying to be Dolly Parton for tonight. Because, Tony Romo had the biggest crush on me yesterday singing Thanksgiving Day for the Dallas Cowboys. And I know Matthew's a big Tony Romo fan, so now I just wanted to come say hi to him. I was trying to draw my mole on, but it doesn't work.
Listen here, Dolly. Two things. One, this is the one podcast you should have done Elvis because he's from fucking Memphis.
Well, so she did. She's from Tennessee as well. I had to look it up, and she was born January 19th, one day after me. And she's an Aquarius, so it makes her a little crazy.
So yesterday, obviously, for those of you who watched the fucking Cowboys game at halftime, Dolly Parton comes out and is singing, and like during halftime, like I had taken my Thanksgiving nap at that time. I'm laying back in the recliner, I'm asleep. I kind of snore myself awake, and then boom, there's Dolly Parton on the screen. I was like, oh shit. Eddie Yee in the chat is like, Albert Einstein? Lissy is gold from Blaze Megatron.
Choking on my hair now.
Okay, yeah.
It's a little white. I know. It's an older Dolly Parton.
It's Dolly before she gets the
I just look like a scientist, yeah. I don't have a blonde wig. I don't have the wig rotation that John has.
Okay,
right.
Dolly. Well, tell us what was happening on the subreddit for the Memphis Grizzlies.
All right, say it. I'll tell you what, Jaren is soft. Why didn't he contest for that layup? Fuck. I actually thought that too. I was like, there's some attempts at the rim by the Suns where some of them were fast breaks, but JJJ just did not want any of it. I'm like, isn't he like defensive player of the year, man? He didn't even try.
Yeah, Jaren Jackson looked like shit in this game. I'm just going to go out there and say it. I'm not the biggest Jaren Jackson guy, but 29 minutes, 5 of 13 from the field, 13 points, 7 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal. And in typical Jaren Jackson fashion, 3 turnovers, 5 fouls. I just thought his offensive game was mid. There you go. No cap. There you go.
I think he's trying too hard to really do other things for the team offensively and stuff. And the foul thing's always been a thing, but I think he's just putting too much on his shoulders with everybody out, and he's just not that guy, right? He's always been such a good power forward next to Steven Adams, and everyone knows this. I'm going to stop.
Well, all right, Doc, what else?
Right, so with how undermanned this team is, can't afford the number of dumb plays they make. What plays? They got to actually run plays. And that was actually in the second quarter where I just felt like they weren't running any plays. And then after that was actually said, they started running some plays and they cut the lead to like 1. Someone said to wear lashes and lipstick, but it's like, dude, like, you know how much time that would take? And plus, I do that in my spare time, but it takes a while.
Yeah, it's a 15-second drop. That gives us enough time to change, like, real quick.
I can even draw my mole on, dude. It's just red.
You got a red mole, Dolly.
Legitimately, shit is unwatchable. I've never had less fun watching the Grizzlies team before. Fizdale was fired after a 7-12 start with the Grizzlies. Of course, we all know that, right? He was the coach. Derrick Rose tonight, they actually put a picture of him holding the MVP trophy. A lot of Derrick Rose love tonight. He was like their one little like plus they had tonight, which was kind of cute to watch.
He played 22 minutes. He was 8 of 9 from the field. He had 17 points. Derrick Rose can still fill it up. He's good. But Suns fans, we don't need to go get him. Okay, like anytime the opposing team has a good performance by somebody, like, dude, he needs to be on the Suns. No, we're good without Derrick Rose.
Yeah, but that's always been the thing with him. I think last year would have been okay, but I don't know. Let Rose fucking cook and stop having him stand in the corner. And then bow your heads for Grindfather prayer. I don't know what that is. Do you know what that is?
Grindfather?
Grindfather prayer. Bow your heads for the Grindfather prayer. So
that's got to be a Memphis thing.
I don't know. It was interesting, but that's it.
Well, say goodbye, Dolly.
Bye, everybody. Bye.
The Suns Jam Session subreddit stakeout. Oh yeah, that was. Oh, welcome back, Matthew. You just missed Dolly Parton out here.
What? I'm her biggest fan. I didn't even know she sang till yesterday.
Yeah,
I thought she was just in westerns.
Wearing her what westerns has Dolly Parton ever been in? She was in like 9 to 5.
Looks like all the women in the westerns. So.
she's her in her full body cert. We're here. Kiko in the chat says we will miss Dolly.
I'll miss her too. Till later.
Oh, what?
Jam Star of the Game.
Sirs, this is your chance to let everyone know who your Jam Star of the Game is in this game. Again, a 21-point victory for your Phoenix Suns. Matthew, you go first. I think you haven't been here for the past couple pods because you've been covering games. So,
has it been 2 pods?
Yeah, you missed the Golden State and oh no, you were we did the Portland one.
Yeah, we did it late. Okay, I was like, dude, I hope not. Yeah. Let me give it to Book, but I was gonna give it to Grayson Allen. I thought that even the first half. I'm like, Grayson Allen's play been tremendous. He's been so consistent. But tonight I just thought, like, if we didn't have him, of course Eric Gordon, but Grayson Allen was just, I think, the reason at times in this game we could pull away. Booker totally finished it off in the fourth, but Allen just made sure that we stayed on top of the Grizzlies for the most part this game.
I agree. It's Devin Booker. It's 40 points. An efficient 40 points. Out there just looking like a badass. He's got the one sock up. He's wearing them Book ones. He's just like an old school smooth motherfucker. Like, it was 100% Devin Booker. So looking at what the chat has to say, Eddie Yee, viewers dropping off now. Ever since Dolly left, the viewers are like,
I thought they dropped off as soon as I went on. There was about 11 person difference. Plus minus.
Can 11. We at least get a Lissy?
Not right now. I'll save it.
No?
Yeah.
Hamo gives Suns Jamstar. Let's see. D Book from David Ray. No one else even came close. Jamstar is BDB from Kiko. Book 40 from Fumar El Oso. BDB from Blaze Megatron. BDB from GOD3. Booker's the obvious choice from John Tran. Metal Mike gives it to Book. Lazy Sasquatch doesn't watch basketball, apparently. Gives it to Bull for some reason. Swinging Low Book from Sir Hamo. BD Book from... Oh, I lost it. I'm sorry. Where'd it go? So many people.
That one?
Yes, there you go. New Hope Manny, which I was right. It is in Pennsylvania. BD Book. J.O., good game tonight. Suns Fever, D Book. Everyone's giving it to D Book. That's the right answer. Big booty Booker. Ooh,
I like that.
Yeah, I like that.
I clicked on that. That's good.
D Book from Elmer. Bank Shot Book from Mike. I like that one. Mike Adamo.
Who's
Suns Geek. Yeah, Suns Geek was at the game. He got to be there. I sent him the link, but he hasn't popped in. Said he spotted him a couple times. What? Damn you, Suns Geek. Big Daddy Book from CL Oracle. You guys get it. It's Big Dolly Book.
Big Dolly Book.
Big
Dolly.
Bad Bunny crying. It's Devin Armani Booker. I think it's no question on that one. Next game for the Phoenix Suns, a 4 p.m. game on Sunday. The New York Knicks, they head to the MSG, Madison Square Garden, to take on the New York Knickerbockers from New York. Been watching a bunch of New York Knickerbockers, Matthew?
No, a few times. I said no, but I have watched them a few times.
But yes.
When I say no, the reason is because I watch those 10-minute recaps, and I feel like it's fun to watch, but it's always just the greatest plays. You don't get to really break down the game, bring out the chalkboard, and just draw up plays and stuff like I normally like to do. But I know that Julius Randle's been playing better. I know that for sure. Other than that,
true.
Have you been watching them?
No, not at all. But I can tell you what I do know about this team. Okay, a few things. One, 6th seed in the Eastern Conference, 8-6. 2, you take a look at their offensive rating, 7th in the league. I'm sorry, 11th in the league. Their defensive is 7th. They have a net rating of plus 4.5, 6th in the league. So this is a good team. 3, this is a team that's going to beat you up on the boards. Okay, total rebounding, they're 2nd in the league. They're 2nd in offensive rebounding. Mitchell Robinson averages 11.6 rebounds. Julius Randle averages 10. So they have 2 rebounders above 10. So this could be a tough game for the Suns because we know that the Suns have a hard time not getting or allowing defensive rebounds, right? A lot of offensive boards for their opposition. So that's going to be something to watch. Jason L does say Knicks have a good defense, and Obi Toppin has taken off from Prescott Mark. He must have. He's playing in Indiana.
I was gonna say, isn't he?
He's a pacer.
That team's fucking awesome to watch.
but remember, last time we played the number 1 defense in the league, the Minnesota Timberwolves, we smoked them in Devin Booker's first game back. Granted, it was a second night of a back-to-back for them. So this could be a tough one. You know, they're led in scoring by Jalen Brunson, who gets 24.2 points per game. He's also somebody who knows how to navigate to the interior, get those range shots, likes to shoot 3 ball. The entire team shoots at the 9th best clip in the league at 37% from beyond the arc, and they take the 10th most threes. That, you know, like the challenge with the Grizzlies tonight is they're a team that takes the 4th or 5th most threes in the league, but they make the 29th percent. Like they're one of the worst 3-point shooting teams. So you want them to shoot the threes. This is a team that's in the top third in both attempts and makes. So you have to be cognizant of that. And the perimeter defense from the Suns can be suspect at times. So what are you looking for in this one? Can we win this one, Matthew?
Yeah, the Brunson thing is going to be a little pain in the butt. I can just see him being that in the paint. Like you said, like getting the fouls, drawing him at the rim. That's going to be a big thing. Who's going to guard him? Who's going to actually kind of stop him? The Knicks are good, but I don't really trust them to win close games. So the Suns can keep this one close. And if KD does play, I'm sure they can pull away and probably take this one. But it's nice that, you know, KD might be back. And if he is, it'll be such big help. Obviously, scoring wise, but also you have another center too. I don't feel like Eubanks is going to be back for a while. So we're going to need his size for sure.
It's going to be interesting with Eubanks.
Yeah,
it looked like he jammed his ankle, and it does suck. It definitely does suck. And, you know, with a team like Randall, like the Knicks with Randall and Robinson on the interior, if Nurkic gets into foul trouble and you have to play some small ball 5, you better be shooting lights out.
I know.
Because you can beat this team with our offense. I mean, we can beat any team with the offense. It's the nice thing about this Phoenix Suns team, even down Bradley Beal, even down Kevin Durant tonight. I mean, we still scored 110? You know, not great, but still, like it's a well-coached team, but you have to shoot the lights out if we get into foul trouble. So what's your final prediction? Suns win, Suns lose?
Yeah, Suns win again. I think the Suns win 111 or 111. What'd you say?
You have not picked against the Suns this year. Just so you know.
Am I winning?
Yeah, I've picked against them twice. No, you're not. We're tied. Well, we both have 3 losses. We have different amounts of wins. I have 1 extra win because I was on an extra pod than you. But it's just the way it goes. In war, we're shat upon, though we die. The resistance lives on. Let's see here. What do we want to do? What are we going to do? Yeah, I just got to find it. Here we go.
Childhood trauma.
All right, we're at the back end of the podcast here. So little childhood trauma time. It's the holidays. Always a traumatic time of year. Worst Thanksgiving ever, Matthew. Go.
Worst Thanksgiving? I never had one.
Really?
Yeah, I'm very fortunate.
You are. You should be thankful for that.
Is there one do you have one? Because I was going to say we can do yeah, go ahead.
All right.
What do you got?
Well, so I was probably about 16 years old, maybe 17, probably 16. And we used to go to my aunt's house up in North Phoenix, not actually too far from where I live now, for Thanksgiving every year. And one year, my grandmother had like a new boyfriend. And we sat down at the Thanksgiving table, and like he was telling me what to do. You know, like I don't remember what exactly he was telling me what to do, like, you know, how to sit or take my hat off at the table or something like that. And, you know, you're 16, you're 17, you're snot-nosed kids. Your parents are recently divorced. You're just like, fuck the world, man. And I just remember getting so pissed. I was like, don't tell me what to do. You're not my grandfather. You're not my father. You're not related to me. Like, who the fuck do you think you are? And my grandmother started like crying. She's like, how can you talk to him that way? I'm like, fuck this. I'm out of here. And I got in my car and I started like driving away. And my aunt and uncle's house was on a big plot of land up off of Deer Valley Road and like 7th Street. So if anyone knows that part of town, it's just a bunch of just wide open spaces and big dirt lots out there, especially back in like, 1996, 7, 8, somewhere in there. And I got my car and I started driving when I was so pissed. I floored it and like my 88 Honda Accord hatchback like spun out and like I went to a ditch and I like walked back to the house and be like,
awkward.
Yeah, I was just like, so my car's in a ditch. Uncle Phil, can you help me to get it out? And just dumb shit.
Phil?
Yeah, my Uncle Phil,
Nice.
Uncle Phil and Aunt Amy. And my other shittiest Thanksgiving was like it was not childhood trauma, but when I was stationed in Korea and I was a cook in the Army, and, there's like 36 consecutive hours of prep work for the Thanksgiving dinner for the troops, right? I've literally fed an army in my life. And I remember I had a 15-gallon pot full of potato salad where I had to cut all the ingredients by hand, all the potatoes, all the celery, everything. And when I was done with it, you get all the potatoes and you steam the potatoes. Once they're done, then you pour on all of the mixture to make the potato salad. And I was done with it and I was getting ready to pan it up. And my sergeant comes by and he picked out one of the potatoes and he squeezed it. And he's like, that's not soft enough. You need to do it all over again. I was just like, no.
Oh my God.
And then once everything was done and the meal was done, we had ice sculptures. It was first tank, Camp Casey, Korea. And the general comes through the dining facility. And all of us cooks are standing there and our cook whites looking fresh and crisp. And he walks into the main dining area and he kind of, everyone's like, "Attention," they stand up. And then he looks up at the TV and he goes, "Well, that was some shit, wasn't it?" And what he was referencing was the Malice in the Palace that just happened the night prior. But we are like, Malice in the Palace live in Detroit was like 8 a.m. Korea time. And we were serving lunch at like 11. He's like, "That was some shit, wasn't it?" And he just like walked on by and we're like, wow, that's it.
That's all you got to say.
All you got to say.
That performance
36,
in the kitchen.
Yeah, 36 fucking hours of prep. He's like, that's some shit. So there you go. Those are my two things. Lazy Sasquatch. John is a rebel without a cause. I was just like an teen angst,
Dude, that's some instant karma, I guess, right? Did the guy croak soon after that? After you said you hated him and go?
Probably. I don't know. I didn't care. He wasn't my
Oh
grandfather.
yeah, you didn't care.
Fuck that guy.
I miss having our family used to be bigger and we used to have huge Thanksgivings where it'd be like all day and just really relax and stuff. Nowadays it's just like you eat, you only have like 2 or 3 hours. Hurry up, clean up all this shit, and then like get back home. Like I just like to sit there and like be relaxed. It's always like my mom's like, "Matthew, get in here and help me."
Yeah, you're like eating the food, and your mom's like cleaning the plate as you're eating it.
I'm like, "Mom, I'm 34 now. I can do what I want, right?" No, she gets the finger over there. She's like, yeah. And I'm like, all right.
What was the other childhood trauma subject you were going to say?
I was going to do, this was stupid, worst Christmas present, but let's save that for Christmas time, huh?
Yeah, that is coming up around the corner. So it's probably a good time to do that.
I thought it was Christmas. It just feels like Christmas right now. So.
No, not at all. It barely felt like Thanksgiving. How'd you spend your Thanksgiving, Matthew?
Oh, I went over to my brother's house in Maricopa. We played some croquet in the backyard. It was a lot of fun.
Badminton.
Yeah.
Fun. I went to the same house and
I didn't from the food.
I didn't play badminton. I sat on the recliner chair and fell asleep, and then Dolly Parton startled me awake. And then today I got up and I took apart 2 cabinets in my garage and 3 cabinets actually, and one of them hit me right in the nuts. Oh man, I got
instant karma.
Just a good nut shot. My wife walks out right when it happens. She's like, "What happened?" I'm like, "Oh, right in the satchel." She starts laughing. She's like, "I never heard it called a satchel before." So
that's a good one, actually. Yeah.
Metal Mike. Lissy has a brother. Yes, Lissy.
Yeah, an older brother. More responsible. Has 5 kids.
Yeah. So we always go out to his house all the way out in Maricopa, which is like a long, long drive.
Mm-hmm. He gives me a noogie too, man. Or it gives me a noogie, a headlock.
Yeah, and it hurts because it's like an Indian burn now because you don't have hair on top.
I'm bald now.
Yeah. It sucks. But yeah, so happy Thanksgiving to everybody. I hope you had a good Thanksgiving, a safe one. Matthew's brother did fry the turkey, and I thought it was delicious.
It was good, nice and tender, right?
Yeah, juicy.
Yeah,
juicy. What was your favorite dish?
I don't know. I didn't have one. I thought they all kind of blended together. They were good. Just nothing stood out.
That green bean casserole that Stephanie made was fucking amazing.
That's good. Yeah.
She added bacon to it. If you guys want to win with that green bean casserole, we all know it's got that crunch on top because of the onions. Matthew's sister added bacon to it, and it just like it
Add
added a
bacon to anything is
saltiness,
delicious.
but it added like a saltiness to it that was just chef's
Yeah,
kiss.
her stuff, her
Chef's
pies too. She made a chocolate one. She's like, oh, it's too sweet, but it was probably my favorite one, the Oreo one. Really
Yeah,
good.
it was really good. She said it like with disappointment. She's like, "Oh, it's just an Italian blah 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 blah." I'm like, "Whoa!" I was like, "You said it so sad. That was delicious."
It was awesome. Yeah.
I still have diabetes from that. So, well, we thank you everybody who joined. Suns win 6 in a row. Fantastic. We'll be joining you on Sunday after the Phoenix Suns play the New York Knicks. Hopefully, it will result in another win for your Phoenix Suns. But until then, subscribe, rate, and review, follow the show. If you listen to the podcast, head to Apple. I think like 58% of our listeners are on Apple Podcasts. And my guess is if you're listening to this on Apple Podcasts, odds are saying you probably haven't rated it yet. So go just click 5 stars, write a little review. We'll read it right here on the pod. Talk about your worst Thanksgiving or your best Thanksgiving, your worst Christmas gift, your best Christmas gift. But whatever you do, Matthew, tell them what to do.
Go home, love your family.